ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to get an update from staff about our stormwater infrastructure system and give a brief update to the community and the council as well. I put on the, this is on my Q1 report from January.
It is, and you know,
Ricky's got that.
Ricky got it?
Ricky.
All right.
So as far as just an update of the system, we inspect approximately 20% of this system annually, so that we are in a 5-year rotation of putting our eyes on every bit of our system, whether it's ditches, structures, or pipe. The current state of the system is debatable. We have a lot of old infrastructure that we're having to fight. We have a lot of new infrastructure that's operating just as it should be. A lot of our older parts of our system are corrugated metal. We no longer allow that for good reason. But those pipes are what we concentrate on annually with our relining program, that we put anywhere from 300 to 500 feet of reline in annually.
Now, you said 20% we evaluate annually. So what's the percentage of the city have you reached so far?
He said we physically put our eyes on 20%.
That's what So out the 20%, if you had to give us an update on like how much of the city have you evaluated as far as all the piping system, if you're doing 20% over 5 years?
We have inspected the entire system multiple times.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Utility has been in place since 2014. So at a 5-year rotation, we are now on our 3rd lap.
So you said that you have seen pretty much every pipe in the city.
Yes.
Okay. And so as far as okay. So if you evaluate all the pipes and things like that, is there anything that we can help you with? Because what are you using to evaluate those pipes? I was talking to some people from Cobb County, and they have a I guess it's a remote control robot that's on that goes into the pipes and things like that. It's hooked up to a line. Mm-hmm. And they're mapping it out with GIS. Are we doing the same thing as well?
Yes, we own a robot.
On the robot as well?
Yes.
And do we have pretty much an outlay of where all the pipes are at?
We do. Got a map.
Is that part of public record as well?
Yes. It's actually, you can reach it on our website.
Okay. And so if we evaluate all those pipes, how did we miss the 2 incidents that happened? I think one was in and the Mercy pipe that we had spent $400,000 to replace not too long ago. Was that on your radar as well?
Not sure which one you're talking about.
So we had a Mercy, there's a pipe that I guess was ruptured in their backyard.
Okay.
Remember that one?
Yes.
And there was another one that was, if I believe it was in Terra, or I believe Terra community, I believe it was. Did we miss that one, or did you have an idea that this was going on? What's going on?
The one that you're talking about that we just recently did on Pine Hill, we were not as aware of that one until the homeowner pointed it out to us because it was in her yard. That was after the Helene rains that we had, which escalated the speed that collapse happened.
Okay.
So to tell you that it was on our radar, everything's on our radar. There is not a pipe that in some form or fashion, we are not mildly concerned to majorly concerned about. Again, the boom of our housing was 80s and 90s. So everything, the majority of everything that's in the system is pushing that 30, 40 year. And unfortunately, in that time span, we had a lot of corrugated metal that was put in the ground. So yes, there is a lot of stuff that's on our radar. You just can only juggle so many balls. And so inspecting 20% a year, which is twice as much as what we're required to with our MS4 permit, we are trying to keep as much and as many balls in the air as possible.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead,
I just want to say this. The tone that you're taking was an accusatory tone, and I don't like that. If you're asking a question, ask the question. But it's when you say, "How did we miss that?" That's, to me, that's, you know, how did you miss that with the stuff? Yeah, I understand, but I want you to think about how you ask it, if that makes sense to you. Because how did we miss it is how you worded it.
I think it's a fair question. Well, I apologize if I came off as rude. But I mean, I think it's a fair question. Is if we evaluated, we should have seen it.
You're doing 20% of it every 5 years, and this is the third time around for 30-year-old pipes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, I understand what you're saying too, and I apologize, Mr. Stewart, if that came off as rude to you. But I know also that it also stated that in the report that I was reading from 2019, it's stating that we are also supposed to look at the drainage as far as the exposed ones, where the water just goes into the, supposed to take the leaves and things out of it as well. But I've been living in my home for 10 years, and I've never seen us come out and look into that as well behind my house, as far as clearing out the leaves and things like that in the gutters. And when I look into it, the stormwater pipes is full with leaves and debris and things like that. So that's why I'm asking you, because I know that communities like Legacy Park, we're dealing with 25-year-old pipes, 30-year-old pipes. It's time to get those changed. And when I look at it, I know we have a spot that's coming up, and that potentially that the voters could vote on. And this is why I want to have an idea of what we're looking at, because I think that we should take this time to invest into our stormwater system. So I'm sorry if it did come off rude there. That wasn't my intention. My intention was to, so you kind of took me off the rock when you did that a little bit there. So
Well, I will tell you that as far as SPLOST, there are much more needed things in the city that SPLOST can be dedicated to. That's why the stormwater is a utility. We charge for that, so we have a constant feed of funding for stormwater.
is there anything that you need from us as far as better equipment, more staff? What's going on? Like, how is your staff broken down? Is Public Works split into?
There is a stormwater division under Public Works.
They're totally dedicated to stormwater only?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, they assist on other duties, because if we have a snow event or some sort of weather event, when it's all hands on deck, yes, they cross over. But their job is stormwater. We have 2 crews plus the street sweeper operator.
Okay. I have seen the street sweeper. He comes out and do a good job with that one. I have seen that, so that's a good one. Now, as far as the GIS map, do you have the camera pictures inside of these pipes as well, or are you just mapping it out with GIS as far as what's on the map?
No, part of our inspection is that we do take pictures of the structures as well as climbing down in, taking visuals and pictures. We do video with our rover. We have hundreds and hundreds of pictures. The GIS, we are currently contracted with a consultant that is giving us, our maps are horizontal. They are working on getting vertical so that we know invert elevations. And as part of that, the next step, once that is complete, is to model our system. So if there is a repair that's needed and the model says that size pipe is no longer sufficient, you should have this size pipe, we can model the system, find out where our restrictions are, where their upsizing needs to be, where there's a potential that we might need to put another regional pond instead of investing in replacing and upsizing an entire neighborhood, put a pond there, and then that system can operate with those smaller pipes with an investment of a single site versus tearing up the world, putting new pipes in the ground.
So, as far as the detention ponds, are they allowed to have trees in those ponds and things like that, or is it supposed to be clear of any debris?
It's supposed to be clear.
So if I know of a few that have trees and things like that in there, do I just bring it to your attention so we can clear that out?
No, sir, you do not.
So what do we do with those?
If you see a pond that has trees in it, that's an HOA problem.
What if the community doesn't have an HOA?
It's not the city's problem.
Do we attack? I know for one that it's in a trust. So is the trust responsible for it?
Absolutely.
So what do we do if the trust is still active, but they are no longer responding? Or I guess they're still paying taxes. Is there a way that we can bring it to
That becomes a code enforcement issue.
Okay, so just bring it
The
to
only ponds that the city maintains is the regional pond and the ponds that are on city facilities.
So the pond that's in Kennesaw Station,
Sure pond.
is our pond, and there's no HOA attached to it. So do we just go after the trust of it, or
That would be an attorney question.
Can you elaborate on that?
That would be your code.
Code enforcement.
Yes. And what you probably do is get in touch with code enforcement officer.
Code enforcement, okay. And then would your office take over after that?
It's Corey.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Stewart. That's all I have for you.
I have a question.
I'm so sorry.
In the past, we have had that we have had to come in, but that's been a long time ago.
One more question, Mr. Stewart.
Go ahead.
Is it possible, can you send us the pictures to staff, to council, the pictures of what you all have taken so far?
It's a massive
There's
document.
been thousands of them.
Well, do you have like a portal we can look into it, or something?
No, we keep those on one of our hard drives.
Okay, so we can come in and take a look at it and to your
If
office.
you'd like.
Okay. One more thing, Mayor. And is it possible, I'm not certain if Jeff had informed you of it, I would like to one day come out and see how your staff do it, just so I won't be ignorant of the process, so I can have a first-hand understanding of how it works and things like that. Is it possible to schedule a time with you all to come out there and see how you all doing it?
That's a discussion between the
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Madeline?
You mentioned some of the older pipes pushing 30, 40 years now. So what we're laying now with a new product, what is the projected lifespan of?
So concrete pipe has about a 50-year lifespan. The HDPEs, the plastic pipes, plastic lasts forever, but they still won't go any more than about 50. Corrugated metal, if it's got flowing water through it, you're lucky to get 5 or 10 years. If it's just the intervals of rain, you can get 20 to 30 years. That's where we're seeing a lot of our collapses are those 20 to 30-year-old pipes that may look visually fine, but as they begin to rust, they will actually start collapsing in on themselves.
So we have about how many more years in this cycle, in this pattern of going
Every 5 years.
Yes, to go through all that old stuff.
Yeah, so we, if you just figure that with 2014 starting the utility, and if we're on a 5-year cycle, then that was 19, and then that was 24.
Okay.
So we're on next 5-year cycle.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right. Any further business this